Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ratliff Mandolins production diary. And it is Monday morning and I am making fretboard extenders. I got into my box of fretboard extenders and realized that I got 4 or 5 mandolins that need these things, and I only had one blank cut out. So I am taking a board and cutting it into small squares and penciling the outline of these fretboard extenders on there and sawing them out. So come with me and you can see that whole process. Now I've just cut a bunch of squares, as you can see, and I have a plexiglass template that is the shape that I want, and I'm just going to mark that shape. Put it in a stack. I have taken those boards that I have just sawn out and cut the excess off, cut that little protrusion off, and shaped this thing down till I have this right here, which fits there and is more or less level all the way out, and the fretboard can be now glued on. But before I glue the fretboard on, I want to finish the underside of this board, and to that end we're going to stain the visible part and shoot some clear coats on it and slick it down just a little bit, because it can't get under there to do that once it's glued on. And the tool that I'm going to use to hold it and everything is simply just a stick with the V-notch cut in it. That's going to actually just kind of scissor in and fit like that right there, and that'll give me a chance to, I'm going to tape up the parts that I don't want to shoot finish on, and that'll give me a chance to shoot the finish on this right here before we glue it on, and I'm going to do that right now. And here is that fretboard extender being glued to the mandolin. Other projects that I have worked on this week include the binding for the fingerboard for the R5 master model in this batch. And you can see here that I'm putting in the inner black, white, black strip on this part, and I'm getting ready to put the same strip on this side of the fretboard. And another project that I'll mention here, although I haven't done a whole lot of work for it, at least this week, I have kind of gathered all of the stuff that I could gather to tackle this project, which is a case for that second left-handed mandolin. You know, I altered the first gator, for the first left-handed mandolin, I altered a store-bought gator case. Now, 100 years ago, actually more like 20, I built this wooden shell of a case. Don't let the painting on there fool you. That was just a repurposed piece of 1/4-inch plywood that we're, of course, we're going to wind up painting over anyway. But let me open it up here and show you. I actually have the thing is more or less finished on the inside. It's got the foam padding and everything already cut to shape for a mandolin, and I have gathered this week in preparation to tackle this project. I also found my stash of that fur stuff that you line on the inside, and I don't know if there's enough there, but I hope so. We're going to see, and a couple of other things that we might have. And I actually found some piano hinge that we can cut and use for hinges. What I haven't found yet and probably don't have would be the handle and the latches and that sort of thing, and whatever we're going to do for a pocket on the inside. But at least the 20 years ago I built this thing, or more probably, and it's just sitting there on the shelf. And so I'm going to I am trying to clean this place up and get rid of all these older projects and that sort of thing. It's part of the reason that we're doing two left-handed mandolins, because they were just on the shelf, and this is going to help clean that mess up as well by using this. So that'll be a project that we'll probably discuss in future episodes, more so than this one, because all I've really done is just kind of gathered everything together. But that's that. All right, it is Friday now, just about 15 or 20 minutes before quitting time. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of fill you in on all of the progress that was made around here. And let's start with where I spent most of the week, was putting on, building and shooting finish and putting on fretboard, gluing on fretboard extenders. And of the 5 mandolins here in this batch that haven't been finished yet, 4 of those have had their fretboard extenders glued on, and all they really lack now is to have the truss rod installed, and they will pretty much be ready to have the fretboard glued on. So we're going to be doing that next week. That 5th one that's not that far along is this R5 master model, and I think you saw that I was held up a little bit because it didn't have the fretboard prepared, but I also this week accomplished that, and that fretboard has had all of the binding glued on it that it needs to have glued on. So now we're ready to proceed with the fretboard extender, and that'll be a job that we'll probably tackle next week. And also, when I was shooting the finish on those fretboard extenders, I realized that I didn't have such a blushing problem that I did have back in the summer. So it was good. I thought, well, I'll give it a shot and see if I can shoot finish on a mandolin now, and I could. So this mandolin right here, I've got all of the bill coats on it. All it really needs is just to be smooth sanded and everything, and the final satin coat shot on it so that it can hang and cure before we put the hardware on it. That's probably a job we'll tackle next week. This one here is got 2 of the bill coats on, and probably before I quit today, I will add that final bill coat on this one. And this one here, this is the mandolin with an oval hole and just a spruce top that's not stained at all, and a mahogany neck. It lacks 2 bill coats before it'll be ready to have the final satin coat put on. And of course we have this left-handed mandolin here that's just awaiting me to get enough time to put the hardware and the tailpiece and the bridge and all that kind of stuff on it. And as you knew from earlier in this video, I've been working on that case a little bit this week as well, and I got the hinge attached and then took everything back apart, and I have been sanding on the woodwork and cleaning it up and putting some primer on it and that sort of thing. And I have a list now of things that I need to purchase before I can finish that case. Latches and a handle and some sort of interior stuff for the pocket, and I don't know what all, but so I've made some progress on that. So of the things that we're going to continue to work on next week will be that case, perhaps this mandolin. Almost certainly these here will get something done to them, and hopefully we'll get the fretboard extender for this R5 Master model glued on, and maybe even start tackling gluing the fretboards on, the truss rods in those other ones, and fretboards, and that would be nice to be able to do maybe 1 a day or something like that. So that all that will be for next week, or if we don't get to it next week, future episodes. So why don't you come back and check with me next week. Thanks so much for watching to the very, 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 very bitter end, and we'll see you in the future. Bye.